Hey up everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about why I bought the Golf R over the A45, the Civic Type R, the Focus RS and the BMW M140/M135i. I've not been well over the last couple of days, so apologies if I'm not uploading more frequently. And I've tried to film this maybe 37 times, a bit of an exaggeration, but I was barely able to get through a sentence without sneezing or coughing. But I wanted to bring a video to you guys to explain why I bought the Golf R and why I bought it over the competitors, so let's get into it. We'll start with the Focus RS then. I've grown up around my father, who's had the XR2 and XR3, Escorts. We've always talked about Escort Cosworth and Sapphire Cosworths, and of course over the last 10 years we've had the Focus RS Mark II and the Focus RS Mark III. Now for you guys who don't know, I had an ST Mark II before this, and the natural progression for me was to go to a Mark III RS. Unfortunately, there have been quite a lot of issues with the Focus, with the head gaskets, and with engines having to be replaced within 30,000 miles. And that was one of the big things for me. I didn't want a car that wasn't reliable, and I think there's a lot of owners who have sold their car because of this, and a lot of people who have been put off buying one, myself included. I must say that the car itself is absolutely fantastic. It's got a striking road presence, it's brilliant to drive. It's got four-wheel drive, drift mode, warranty-approved modifications, and it's basically a very, very good car for the money. However, there's also talk about the ride not being so great. Now, I do a lot of motorway miles in my new job, and I wanted something which was quite good on the motorway, not just in terms of miles per gallon, but in terms of comfort as well. But the Focus RS, albeit a fantastic car, didn't quite fit that criteria. So the second lot of cars that I considered were the 135i and the 140i. I considered the 135 simply because of the price point, but for the reason I'm going to mention, both cars got discounted. So I wanted a car that I could drive reliably all throughout the year, regardless of the weather, regardless of the situation, and of course with the BMWs being rear-wheel drive, that wasn't possible. The one saving grace from them cars is the engine. It's a 3 litre straight-six turbocharged engine, bags and bags of torque, fantastic tuning potential, and them things can be made into such animals, it's unbelievable. The second sticking point for me with the BMWs is the interior. I've had a couple of BMWs in the past and the interior hasn't really changed. Now with the addition of the 340i, which was recently launched by BMW and showcased at one of the shows, the interior seems to be changing. Now with that, the new BMW 1 Series performance range will probably have that as well. But in addition to this, they are changing the engine. When the new ones are launched, you're going to have a 2 litre 4-cylinder engine as opposed to the 3 litre and 6-cylinder engine. And you're also going to have 4-wheel drive. So for me, if that was the car now, I'd have considered it a lot more than what I did. But moving forward, I think that the BMWs will be a serious option for anybody considering a car within this space that are wanting 4-wheel drive usable power. So now I'm going to speak about the A45, the ASBO of the bunch. It's a very loud, brash car. It's loud in terms of the exhaust. It's very, very aggressively styled. And you know when you see one. It's just, you know the road presence, it's just there. But unfortunately for me, the gearboxes aren't that great from what I've heard. And also the interior is a bit questionable with the iPad style afterthought screen. But all in all, it is a fantastic car. And I just think, for me, the price increase with the AMG Premium, as you call it, coupled with the downside in the gearboxes. And I think if I were to buy one, it'd be more of a statistics thing, so it'd be like, oh, I've got an AMG 45, but I think I wouldn't be as satisfied as I would with any of the other ones, purely because of the downsides of the car. Now, the upside to it is that the A35 is coming out, so it's a bit lower in the sort of power range, similar with price to the Golf R, the S3s and everything like that. And the biggest thing for me is it's got an updated interior and it looks fantastic. It seems that a lot of manufacturers are going for these double digital screens now, and I'm a really, really big fan of that. So I can't wait to see what the AMG 35s are like and the reviews of the people who have bought them and pre-ordered them. So I'll keep my eyes out for that. So now I'm going to talk about Civic Type R. Civic Type R's, I've had a love-hate relationship with them for a long time, and I guess a lot of people have as well. I used to own an FN2, but to cut a long story short, the gearbox went, Honda wanted a lot of money for it, so I just bought a different car. We're not here to talk about that though, we're here to talk about the FK2 and the FK8. So back from 2001 when the EP3 came out, I've been in love with these things. And for me, you know, they're very, very driver focused. They've got a lot of potential in terms of track time. Now for me, track focused isn't quite the right lines that I'm trying to go down on. I want a reliable, quick, daily that I can use in any weather. Of course, the front wheel drive, they're a little bit stiff in terms of the suspension and the ride, and people say yes, but it's set a fantastic time down at the Nürburgring. But unfortunately, I don't walk outside of my back door and get to the carousel. I live in Leeds, I live in the United Kingdom, the roads are terrible, so you've got to take that into consideration as well. Now, I must say the Civic Type R is, alongside the A45, probably one of the more aggressively styled cars. And it's a fantastic machine, don't get me wrong, it's just not quite right for me. So we're going to move on to the Golf R now, and I'm going to describe it how somebody described it to me once, which is it's a jack of all trades but a master of none. And there's no real better way to put it. It's a reliable four-wheel drive car that's fast, it's subtle, it's understated, but it does everything that you want it to do and does it well. Now, to give you a bit of background, I used to work at Volkswagen in 2014 and I was one of the first salespeople in the UK to drive the R when it got launched. Since that day, I've wanted one. It was the first car like that in its category, and obviously a lot of the manufacturers have followed suit now. But when you were looking at it, it had a race mode, it had lovely leather seats, and it just played to every single one of my fantasies that I had about a car. So since that day I've always wanted one, but every car has its drawbacks, and this one does too. So first of all, the steering and throttle response are a little bit numb. They're not quite as you would want them to be. With the Civic Type R and with the Focus RS, no doubt they are a lot better, but there are workarounds for the throttle response, at least with the pedal box, but not the steering response. Now, I talked about some of the cars being overly aggressive. The Golf isn't overly aggressive, and to some people that might be a downside simply because it just looks like a Golf, and to 99% of the Joe public, people think it is a Golf as opposed to something which is 300 brake horsepower and does not 60 in 4.9 seconds. I've also got to say as well that I'm really impressed with the MPG on the Golf. I went from Leeds to Birmingham and back. I did 40 miles per gallon. Most journeys are between 30 and 35. If I'm pottering around town, it's between 20 and 30. And I can't really ask for any more. That's been run on 99 unleaded fuel. And again, I know a lot of you guys are going to have opinions on my choices and my words about these cars, but I must stress that for my situation and what I wanted it for, this was the best all-round car. Now, if I was looking for a weekend car, for example, I'd more than likely choose the Focus RS or the Civic Type R, purely because of the driver-orientated features on them. But apart from that, I mean, drop your comments down below in terms of what car you would have chosen or what car you have chosen if you have bought one. If you found this helpful whatsoever, then please drop a like, subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with what I'm doing. And again, apologies for not uploading more frequently. I have been ill over the last couple of days, but we've got the Christmas break ahead of us. I finish work on Wednesday, thank God for that. And I can get a lot of content done. We've got a lot of exciting stuff to get through. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you then.